Hey folks, it's week 6, Tuesday, September 29th, and this is your daily forecast. Today is all about peer review. In task 1, you're just going to check to make sure that your peers have uploaded their drafts to your shared Google Drive folder. So take a moment and do that. Text me if there is an issue so I can resolve it. In task 2, you're basically going to read a peer's paper in Google Docs, make some comments in the margins using the comment feature. And then when you're done with that peer's paper, you're going to hop over into Slack and you are going to find the 3 to 4 sentence post where they talked about what they were trying to accomplish in their piece. You're going to use the comment thread and you're going to create a 5 to 6 sentence response that offers holistic feedback to their creative nonfiction draft, right? And you're going to repeat steps 2 and 3 for each of the peers' papers that you are set to revise, okay? So that is what we are doing in class today. And for homework, the first thing I want you to do is just kind of read your peers' feedback to your papers, your creative nonfiction paper, and make a note to yourself about things that you might want to revise if you decide that you want to revise your creative nonfiction piece for the final project in this class. Remembering that you do not have to, you only have to revise one of your workshop drafts for the final project in the class. Task 3, I want you to read and take notes on chapter 10, which is poetry. And then to draw from imaginative writing, try this to create, 2 different poems. So just kind of read that prompt, okay? Post those to Tumblr. Last thing, I have to do it. Forgive me. I'll explain my motives in a second. So, if you didn't know this already, you can actually register to vote online. And I think a lot of folks in undergrad don't know that. It's a recent change. So if you're not registered and you're eligible to vote, I would super duper recommend doing that. If you're already registered to vote, I would double check to make sure that you're registered, because sometimes if you're an inactive voter, or sometimes if there's a clerical error, that does happen, you could have gotten kicked off of the polls. So just kind of double check to see if you're registered to vote, or register if you're not. So why vote? The reason why you want to vote is because basically it's sort of like math, right? The people who participate in the election sort of get the say. So if we were going by the 2016 general election and we were just going by the decision making of people in registered voters in 2016, turns out the majority of voters didn't vote for anyone, and we wouldn't have a president. But that's not the way that it works, right? So you kind of go with like what the minority of people who actually participated in the election have chosen. So, that can arise certain situations. Now, again, I'm not a political scientist, but I do know it's slightly more complicated than that, because we do have this thing called the Electoral College, which is very, very problematic and super racist. But we're not going to get into that because this isn't a poli-sci class. But I do want to make an appeal to you. I'm from this teeny tiny generation sandwiched between Gen Xers and millennials. I'm really an Xennial. I'm the youngest Gen Xer. We have the tiniest generation. No one listens to us. It's terrible. I'm very sad about it. But the thing is, and I don't think a lot of people spend time telling you this, but Gen Z, that's y'all, you are actually the most powerful voting bloc in generations. For the first time in decades, y'all actually, if you showed up to the polls, would basically outweigh any of the generations before you in terms of your vote, which is kind of amazing and a superpower. And if you're kind of looking at the world around you right now, we need some superheroes. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know that it's not a super sexy thing to do, but I do think that it is a helpful thing to do. So that's my appeal to you. Yeah. And to remember that if you do want to participate in the general election, that you have until Monday, October 5th, to register to vote, okay? And the reason why that's the deadline is because early voting for the general election starts on Tuesday, October 6th. Cool? Awesome. Have a lovely day. In peer review, I'll be reading your drafts alongside y'all. All right, take care.